Welcome to the 2024 Economic Preparation and Depression Channel. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you for joining me on this July the 4th, 2024. Happy the 4th of July. Happy Independence Day to our American friends, family, cohorts, and supporters. Hope you're enjoying some relaxing time with friends, family, and the community, whether it's fireworks, barbecue, or just relaxing at the house. It is very blessed and very fortunate to spend another 4th of July. I just want to briefly talk about the inflation that's continuing to impact food prices in all sectors of food that we know. This is no surprise. The New York Post had an article today about inflation, quote, makes the holiday weekend barbecues more expensive than other. A not so happy 4th of July. Well, it will be a blessed 4th of July either way. And we know that every holiday, this is not unusual, every holiday that we have, whether it be Thanksgiving, they always come out with a report saying, oh, the cost of turkey has gone up and, stuffing or whatever. So we know that that's always been the case. But this year, some of us and all are feeling the pinch a little bit more. They're saying the cost of feeding a party of 10 this weekend is at a record high, an average of $71.22 or $7.12 per person. It's driven up by the cost of meat, according to the latest statistics. That's a 5% increase over the 2023 summer grill season, but many people are still firing up the grill regardless, whether that be turkey, lamb, beef, or veggie burgers, Beyond Burgers. All of which are good choices. We know that beef prices have been up for the last 4 years, ever since the pandemic or just before the pandemic. So it's not really a surprise, but it's just something to keep in mind that inflation is here to stay for the next 2 years or so, and not just in food, but in other areas too as well. So Friday's jobs report comes out, and U.S. job report. The U.S. labor market has held its own despite swirling forces. The high inflation, of course, I just talked about, the aggressive interest rate hiking campaign, pandemic aftershocks, and geopolitical uncertainty with all the things that are going on in Ukraine and the Middle East. But this all seemed but certain to trigger a recession, so we've starved off the recession fears for now. But monthly job gains have come in stronger than expected, according to this report, and unemployment has held at or below 4% for 30 consecutive months. That said, the job market of today is far different than it was 30 months ago. The labor market has normalized, says Luke Tilley, Wilmington Trust chief economist. He told this to CNN in an interview, but he cautioned that things could be making a turn for the worst, And unemployment continues to go up, ladies and gentlemen. And manufacturing, the ISM Services Index, according to MarketWatch.com, it sinks to 48.8% in June. This is the lowest reading since 2020, since before the pandemic. This is talking about 2020. So, the economy may be weakening, quote, quote, according to MarketWatch. And that's no surprise to us. We've been preaching that on this channel for the last 2 or 3 years. That the data, you can have the statistics, you can have the right numbers. But on Main Street, we know that everybody is penny pinching. They're, getting the essential supplies. They're not buying extra. Sometimes, people are taking 1 or 2 trips, but they're not taking exorbitant trips like they were before the pandemic, for sure. Even though airline travel is up and vacation rentals is up, but it's not nothing extraordinary. And so here, Americans are cutting back on eating out and not spending as much as a sign that the U.S. economy is weakening. Well, it's actually safer, to actually prepare your own food at home versus eating out for 2 people for $40, almost $40, at some of these places. Like Chipotle or Cava, or these places you can see here, these people are eating that. So it's actually cheaper and safer, that you can make a couple of meals for the week at home and take the lunch to work and stuff like that. So it's not that Americans are cutting back; they're actually, doing a safer venue, as far as food safety. Because every week there's a recall. You notice that every week there's a recall on either frozen fruit or frozen meat or frozen kids smoothies or kids applesauce. There's a recall every week on some product, whether it's a vegetable, fruit, meat. Store a dog toy. There's a recall going every week on something nowadays. So it's safer to eat at home if you can. Now, many of us are on the road. We travel 2 or 3 hours a day or more, so we have to stop by. But even then, you want to try to make the safest choice you can. Don't get anywhere where you gotta buy don't keep a potato salad or something like that, or a mayonnaise salad in the car for like 2 hours and come back and try to eat it. That's not a safe choice that you want to have in this type of heat for the majority of the American that's going on in the summertime right now. So anyway, service-oriented companies such as restaurants and retailers that dominate the economy contracted in June for the second time in 3 months. Another sign growth in the U.S. is waning. So things are slowing down, and this is nothing to be shocked about, because even the Global Economist magazine is saying that for the Western Hemisphere hemisphere countries in the G20 and the G8 countries that GDP is not growing no more than 1 to 3%. And almost stagnant in the next 2 years anyway. And that's what the majority of the bigger economies of the world. And the developing countries and third world countries, they're going to be growing at sometimes 5 or 6% GDP. And so that's to be expected. There's a balance of power that's shifting. They're bringing in the new labor force, obviously the cheaper labor force, a new and cheaper labor force, that's coming in from overseas and across the border, et cetera, et cetera. You guys know that that is going on, ladies and gentlemen. And so as that comes in and as the technocratic economy comes in, meaning the robotics and AI that's going to be perfected. They're gathering all of our voices, all of the programs you use like Microsoft Word and all that. Anytime you use voice dictation, they're recording all of our voices and sending it up to a database to help improve this AI that's coming out. And that's going to affect white collar jobs, blue collar jobs, trades. Everybody's going to be affected, so you can go to your doctor now and you see now that you have more teledoc appointments, you have more virtual appointments, and even robots now are doing surgery and stuff. So that's all coming in all sectors. Chat GPT, AI is only going to get stronger and perfected, and that's going to affect everybody, from the lawyer field to doctor fields to minister fields to tradesmen to businessmen to day traders. Everybody's going to be affected eventually by one way or the other. They call it the Internet 3.0. Internet of Things, and that's going to be sort of taking over some of this manpower that we used to have on the streets and in this community. So be safe. Enjoy your 4th of July. We'll be back probably sometime Friday afternoon or Friday evening or Saturday evening to talk about the jobs report and things of that nature that's going to be coming out as we enter the third quarter of this economy, third quarter of 2024. Be blessed. Be safe. I'll talk to you later during that time. Thank you for listening. Be sure to subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.